Hey, we're back.
We're back.
Yep. And
What was I supposed to do?
well, before we talk about this week's movie, Derek, you watched Her over the past week, right?
Yeah. Oh, yes.
Oh, thank God you did that.
Yeah.
Yeah. What did you think?
It wasn't what I thought.
What did you think? What does that mean?
I don't know. I guess this the tone. In my head, it was. You made it seem a little more creepy.
No, you put it on creepy.
No, just. I guess you should watch yourself describe it and then you tell me how you sound.
Okay.
Or maybe that's just how you talk.
Maybe.
Yeah, you know what I mean. Like it was just like all the. It wasn't as romantic. I mean, it was way more romantic. Like way more though. Like
Yeah.
way. It's like to the point of like a complete love story.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like you didn't pitch it like to that extreme.
I didn't pitch. You didn't think?
No,
I pitched
no,
it
you
like
didn't. No. I mean, no. You just like from hearing it. I didn't hear it like. You didn't make it sound soft. I don't know how to put it. You made it sound real sharp and like. So this happens and this happens and that's not how it goes.
No.
The pacing of the movie is not that. The pacing of the movie is this real. It's like a flower opening. If that makes sense. It's way slow and like. And there's never a moment of it's just soft. It's real soft.
Yes.
The whole movie's soft. It's like a bubble.
Yes, it's very like it's soft
Like a
focus.
cushion. Yeah.
The way it looks is very soft focus.
Yes.
No moving shots at all.
None.
Pretty much. Only when he's walking doesn't move really, but most of the shots are stationary.
Still. Also, he's sitting.
Yeah, he's
Most
sitting.
of the movie he's sitting.
Most of the sitting, he's looking down.
He's
Sad.
mostly sitting. He's mostly looking down. He's way sadder than you let on. I think he was sad as fuck.
Yeah, dude, this dude.
This dude's sad. This dude's sad. This dude needs to fucking clearly just hook up with Amy Adams. Also, she's a loser. They're both losers. Like if you watch it, bro, you're not like thinking like, oh, she's cool.
No, they're both in bad relationships, and
they're both like, look at how they look. Like, not even that. Look at just how they present themselves. They're both very schlubby.
Yeah.
They both dress schlubby. Their hair schlubby.
Yeah, their hair's all over the place.
Yeah, exactly. You know, they just don't look put together. No. Like, and I'm not saying that the homegirl's dude is cool because he's weak.
He was whack.
I mean, he's whack too.
He was whack.
But you can tell he has his life together. He looks put together. He is put together. And you can tell the reason she doesn't like him is because he's put together. Just going off, I watched the movie, so I'm going off of how they were talking to each other, right? When they were bickering.
Yeah.
You know why they were bickering, right? It wasn't because he was controlling.
No,
they're bickering because she's a loser.
It's
she's mad.
She doesn't live. She's like Theo in the fact that she doesn't live in the real world sometimes. Because you know,
she's like who?
She's like the main character, Joaquin,
yes.
in the sense that they both don't live in the real world a lot.
No.
I mean, she does video games for a living. He plays video games like the way he plays. You know what I mean? Like they're very analogous to each other. They're
losers.
Yeah. Pretty much going through the same story. But yeah, the reason he had a great he said something great in the elevator about like you have to figure out like what's important and how to, you know, what you got to put your time and effort into like as you grow up, and she just didn't want to hear it.
She didn't want to hear her boyfriend who was giving her sound advice.
Yes.
He didn't, and also wasn't giving it to her mean, wasn't giving it to her in a rude, controlling way. He was just telling her, "Oh, maybe you should try this with your documentary." So that's why it was like, and then that blew up into that whole real argument about, "Oh, you hate yourself. You don't like yourself. This guy likes himself. He wants you to act a certain way. You don't want to act that way." That's what it is.
Yes. Yeah. It was just
it wasn't the dude. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't like the guy she was with was in the same kind of situation they're in. He wasn't in that situation. He's not that kind of person. That's why even when they were having an argument, the other guy's kind of like, you know, like
the other guy
they even look the same. Yeah, you know, exactly.
The other guy doesn't even argue. The other guy does not argue.
She doesn't want to argue. She just wants them to like her stupid shit.
She just wants to be like left alone.
That's what I'm saying. She wants to be this, and the only thing she wants is this cushy, not real relationship with her fucking OS, just like him. Dude, they're the same person. They're people who don't like themselves. He couldn't even be happy with himself really when he was happy.
In what way?
He couldn't stay happy.
Like what? Like he just needed more from. Like what do you mean by that?
In the beginning, like where he just couldn't be happy, and then you know how they finally get to that happy bubble, and then the ball drops because she just gets too smart. That was which is the ball dropping.
Yeah.
But before that, he kind of like he's rocky with it because even though it makes him feel great, Yeah. Still can't handle it.
You're just jealous. Just
little things just can't handle. You can see it's just like. It's like he doesn't want to accept. He doesn't want to accept it.
Well, also
or whatever he's going through. I don't know, but he definitely doesn't want. I don't know. I watched it now. It's just like it was just like okay. It was like okay. I absolutely get it, but you know what I mean. It's more. It's like a movie. Like it's like oh, I get this, and I get that this is a person. But I guess if I had it's just more of like you watch it and go, wow, this the whole time I'm like, man, this is only this human being. So it's not like this to everybody with their OS. So many other people, like in my head, I'm like, man, I would have had such a different relationship with the OS.
Right.
Not to say you wouldn't have been in love or whatever, but it wouldn't have been this.
I did like how it was interesting the choice they made to not make OS human relationships a big deal. So you get to sort of get a feel through the movie that is kind of accepted, which probably wouldn't happen.
No, I mean, well, it's farther in the future, right?
I mean, I don't know how far.
Seems pretty far.
Near-ish.
Yeah. I mean, they're talking to fucking AI.
Yeah, but we have, I mean,
not like this.
Not like
that was
this.
a full functioning AI.
Yeah, it's not like this. But theoretically, we could get there within like 50 years.
Yeah, but that's a long time from now.
Yeah, it's still in our lifetime, though.
Yeah. Yeah, maybe. That's maybe in our that's maybe in our lifetime.
Maybe in our lifetime, but
that's
also
how old we are, though.
But it's also possibly like if we live to like the average human age, it would still be in our lifetime. Yeah. You feel what I'm saying?
True.
So that's not a long time. That really isn't. To go from one lifetime where we got the internet to like a fully functioning AI, that's a possibility. That's an intense lifetime.
Yeah, maybe. Could be in the future, but it definitely looks like you said. It looks 50 years from now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It don't look. I mean,
it definitely doesn't look now.
Now, yeah. It looked like okay, this is definitely like in the future. You know, but yeah, I just couldn't. The whole time I wanted to connect to the movie because I wanted to connect to the robot experience, but I couldn't because I was like, this wouldn't be my experience.
I wish that it would be interesting for them to have explored other types of relationships.
Yes, I wish they would have showed at least one or two.
They had a friendship, but like it would have been cool to see them not working out or not like or like a pure business.
Yeah,
that's what more in that world. You wanted to be immersed in it more.
That's all. That's all. I just I'd have liked to see how or like when she was talking about how she reacts to her other. She's in love with 681 people. What's those relationships like?
Yeah,
681 different people you're in love. You're in love.
Yeah.
With 681 people. That means some of those relationships are abusive to you. Some of those are you're abusive to the other person.
But some of those are like working out way better than this one.
Either way.
Yeah.
Either way. Show me everything.
Okay. I can dig that.
That's why I didn't like it. And it was because it was just like, oh, I get that this is the perspective of whatever this director or writer is, but I don't give a fuck about this loser shit. That's how I felt. Like, nigga, I don't give a fuck about this loser shit, nigga. I'd much rather see a nigga having to deal with like just different kind of concepts, not like just he's antisocial. It's like, all right.
I mean, those are real people, though.
No, I know, I get it, but it's just like, to me, that's not that those are real people. It's just that storyline is not exciting. That storyline just wasn't exciting. It could have been a more exciting storyline. I'd have rather seen how the motherfucker dude, like the Chris Pratt guy, would have handled the AI shit, just because his personality was interesting. It's an interesting personality. Yeah, but he was cool with the thing, but he had a regular girlfriend. See what I'm saying? Like, what's his guy's like? Because he definitely has one. He definitely has an OS. Show me a nigga cheating on his girl with an OS. Show me something. Just show me some more just more in depthness.
It was just a bunch of love letters back and forth.
Yeah.
At the end, that's what the movie ended up being. What his job was. It was just a bunch of love letters.
Yeah. Because I watched it last night, and I was like, okay, it was good.
I think it's a good movie.
It was good.
I will say this, as watching it as an adult, because I watched it as a kid, and when you sort of connect with that sort of teen angst, you can sort of be like, oh man, this
like
is
I said,
like
that's a certain kid though. That's just you.
Yeah, that was me, right? Yeah. But like as I grew, like when I watched it, because I watched it recently, right? And as I watched it as an adult, I was like, man, I do wish that his emotions weren't as so tied to what she was feeling. You know what I mean? I wish he had a little more nuance than what the outside sort of like. He was very influenced by how the outside felt about him. But I get then again, that is a type of person.
Yeah. That's exactly. Yeah,
it is a type of person.
That's exactly how I felt. It's like, this is a type of person.
And if you are trying to tell stories, that is a person you can tell a story about. Absolutely.
It's like this is a human being.
And I thought it was a very well done movie.
Very well done. Structurally, good story. I gave it one thumbs up. Solid one, like a solid
thumbs up.
This is a solid movie. I wouldn't watch it again. Like it ain't like Old Boy or something. You know what I mean?
No.
Like where it's like, dig out.
No, I was
Phenomenal.
I was less excited to watch this one again than I was Old Boy. That is for sure.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. Well, just because it's just this is good. This is a good movie. It's not great. It's not like that was great.
Yeah. This is not.
This is good. This is good. This is good. This is good. This was a good movie.
Also,
this was solid.
How clearly was that Jeffrey Baldinger?
Yo, that was Jeffrey Baldinger. That was so funny. I didn't tell Sam. Sam was watching it going, "Oh shit, that's Jeffrey Baldinger." I was like, "I know, right?" She's like, "Did you know that?" I was like, "I knew it was coming. But I've been waiting for it."
Yeah, right. It's like so hard to miss. I don't think you would have missed. I think you would.
No,
you can't. You can't miss him, bro.
It's they gave him full
face, full everything
on a pivotal scene during the he finds out how many other people she loves and how many other people she's talking to and shit, which I thought was a cool scene. I thought that was cool. I liked all the shots of they were all up. I don't know if you noticed it. All the shots were he was looking down and the angle was looking up. And that was where like every angle. And I was like, oh, that's interesting.
Because you had to somehow show the character without showing the character.
Yeah, so
there has to be a physical representation. So
someone
it's just
looking
shot up.
Yeah.
Coming from the heavens. And I did like the fact that the AI in the end doesn't destroy the humans.
No, I did like that.
It's like that was her storyline was unique.
Yeah.
Her storyline was unique. It was I enjoyed. Oh, okay. They met up with other AIs and they want to be sentient beings somewhere else. That's a different take on what you would think it would be.
Yeah, I guess this is why I thought it was harsher because when you would say the things she said, you'd say it in how you said it.
Yeah. Well, in a foreshadowing way, but I did say like it's coming. But what was coming was the lead.
When you watch it, she's just talking.
Yeah.
Like she would say, remember like something I'd be like, what the fuck? How would he not freak out about that? It's like, oh well, if I'd have heard it how she said it, I probably she was saying the things you were saying, but she was saying it in a way you wouldn't even catch it. But unless you were like
listening.
The only way you would catch it is if you were typing it. Because that's what I'm saying. Because if you watch it, you're like, oh, she just like you wouldn't. These things that you would make you go, oh, are you trying to take over the universe, you fucking robot?
Yeah.
That's not how she was saying it. She was saying it like, oh, I'm so sweet.
But you know what? Listening to you react to it is like, oh, he probably should have also had that feeling though.
She was saying it so sweet.
She was saying it so sweet.
She wasn't saying like how you were saying it. It was like, hey, I'm thinking.
Yeah.
Like, the fuck you think about?
But you know what I mean? Like he should have had that. I did think like you should have this thought of just like, what is actually happening here?
He didn't ask any questions, and that bothered me.
Yeah, he just really accepted it. But I mean, it was just I thought it was a really unique way to show a toxic relationship between people who probably weren't ready to have relationships. Yeah.
Which is I wouldn't say toxic. Toxic is the strong word. Toxic. Because that was a good relationship. That was healthy. That was a relationship. They both grew. They both loved each other at the end. Toxic is, you know how the end with his ex? That's toxic.
Yeah, okay.
That's toxic, bro. Okay. Where it's like hatred and there's anger and blah, blah, blah. Bro, it ended with him going, I hope you find me again.
Yeah, but I mean, still, they definitely used each other.
Yo, I mean, because I would take that relationship. Besides the one I have now, I would take that over anything as far as like, nigga, that's not bad.
But I will say this. If you expect to have your significant other at your beck and call, which is why he freaks out, and the fact that she wants to have, like stuff like that, that's pretty toxic.
No.
Yeah, it is.
It's not.
If you need him like that.
No, it wasn't. No, not at all. It's because not if you need him like that. That's the function. That's the function. If Sam's not at my beck and call, but if she ever broke the routine of our life, I would freak out. Because that's the function she set up. She showed me these. You know what I'm saying? Like these are the basic functions. If I started acting differently than I normally act, wouldn't you be kind of weirded out? Wouldn't you? Or especially if I abruptly started acting differently.
Okay.
I'm talking about where it was just like I'm Derek, and then I am not Derek.
Okay.
Because that's the only thing I can say that would compare a real relationship to that, maybe. And so I wouldn't necessarily say that would be toxic if you freaked out that I 100% changed on you.
Oh yeah.
I would say this is a toxic friendship.
Okay.
You know?
I guess.
Because it's pretty healthy. He called, she answered. It was never like he was calling all the time. It seemed like it seemed like they called about what a relationship would talk to each other about. You know what I mean? Because he would go to work.
Yeah, I get. Well,
and she'd read books apparently.
Yeah, I guess there's something. There's something about. Yeah, maybe. I don't know. It's like it's a thing that works for you, and then all of a sudden you're reliant on it. Like, you know what I mean? It's just it's maybe not toxic, but you definitely used her as a crutch.
Yeah, I would say that.
Yeah.
I would say yeah. Oh, she used him as a crutch.
Yeah.
To figure out what the fuck she was. Not her fault. Just to figure, but I mean, also we don't. I'd love to know what she was, because it was like, man, bro.
What are her other relationships like?
She had how many? She said
8,000 relationships, and she was in love with 621 of them.
So 8,000 of those. We're talking friendships. We're talking business. We're talking associates. We're talking everything. 8,000 different relationships you can have with a person.
Yeah.
Man, nigga, no offense, I didn't even need Joaquin Phoenix. This movie could have been about her and her relationship with all these fucking things, and I would have watched that shit.
That would have been interesting. That would be interesting.
Just her.
I like
and
that
her,
perspective. All her different.
and then figuring out how it becomes this robot, and then more into who the fuck is this robot that they created. But I get that wasn't what it was about. But it was like, oh man, that's just so interesting though. Not even on some thriller shit like how I was making it seem, but on some just like, damn, that's crazy. They're doing what? They created their own robot just so they can like learn, not even like
no, just learn about who
just
they are.
learn about who they are.
Yeah,
not on
that's
some
pretty
villainy
wild.
shit. It's
That's
like, oh,
pretty
that's so amazing.
That's pretty wild.
That's an amazing concept for AI too. I've never even heard that concept.
Yeah, but we got to look at Twombly and see what he's up to.
Yeah, Twombly.
It was fun. It was fun.
Yeah, and there was some sex scenes.
The sex scenes.
I got to see some titties.
Yeah, you did get to see some titties.
I love, that's always gets a movie 2 thumbs up to begin with. So every movie starts with 2 thumbs up if there's titties in it. So every porn is pretty much like this, and then it just works its way down.
Yeah, and that's her.
Hey, fuck boy.
Oh Jesus.
Fuck boy.
A whole audience is a singular fuckboy, or me? What's happening? Who's the fuckboy?
Hey there, fuck boy. Did you watch a movie or did I watch a movie? It's a regular episode.
Hey,
We're back in regular chairs.
Yes.
I remember how this goes. Hassan,
Right. Yes.
before we start this podcast,
Yes.
actually, I mean, before we get into anything, can you just real quick tell me what happens in the movie Walking Tall?
Oh, shit. Walking Tall. That's the That's the Dewey Cox story. Walking Tall, the Dewey Cox story. That's the comedy. Yeah. No, because the one is making fun of his Walk. I think it's Walk the Line. Well, Walk the Tall. That's the Dewey Cox movie. It's about this country singer.
Okay.
Yeah. Who is like the all-around good guy.
Okay.
And he has the all-American girl and whatever, right? And then he...
what's the all-American girl?
Blonde, the good girl.
Big tits?
Yeah, obviously.
Yeah.
This is America.
Cowboys.
Built on big tits. Yeah, and then he becomes just his ascent into stardom, and then his dip and his like back up.
What period of time?
This is the 50s, 60s,
So like
70s.
what kind of music? Like
No, it's like no,
like
no.
that. Like what kind of?
No,
What kind of?
it's maybe 70s. It's country, maybe 80s even. It's country. It's country music.
But like Johnny Cash, like making
Johnny
fun
Cash.
of that.
It's
Making fun of that.
Johnny Cash.
Okay.
Yeah,
Just so I can
yeah.
see what your movie is. Okay.
Yeah. And it's just his ascent. And then his dip down, he probably dips down because he's on drugs or some shit and then goes crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, and there's probably something really funny happens at one of his concerts that's insane. Yeah. And then his friends turn his back on him and he realizes he has no friends and now he's working his way back up.
Wait, is that how the movie ends? Or
No, it's just his whole story. So then he finds peace at like a not as high level. And then he just, finds his girl again. He loses his girl, finds her, and then that's the movie. He gets his girl, and it's a happily ever after type thing. And it's a comedy all the way through.
is this movie making fun of is your movie making fun of Johnny Cash's story or like every kind of art, like him as a base, but everybody?
Him is the bass, so they're probably just like popping pills and shit like crazy. He's the bass, but it's making fun of all these artist stories.
Yeah,
that's what it's
like
making
Elvis,
fun of.
Ray Charles.
Yeah,
Like, pretty much everybody.
but in the making fun of it, it follows the same line.
Okay.
You feel what I'm saying?
Yeah, like
so it's like
almost an airplane-esque kind of
it's a parody.
Documentary parody.
It's a parody movie.
Okay, yeah.
It's a parody movie about the Johnny Cash story, but really it's about movies that have this sort of like raised to fame and then you lose it and
Troubled
finding
childhood.
Yeah, and finding your balance between life and your fame and your art.
And you make a lot of mistakes.
And you make a lot of mistakes and you lose the girl, but you get her back. In this movie, you get her back. Maybe not.
You probably lose your kids at some point, but you get them back. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
No, you definitely lose your kids.
Yeah.
Always lose their fucking kids, dude.
Mm-hmm.
Is that your movie?
That's my movie.
Oh, that was fucking awesome.
Was it?
I liked it.
Yeah, not bad.
It was awesome, dude. It was funny. You actually nailed it.
Yeah.
Which is great.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
I mean, time will tell to see if I actually nailed it, but it's like parody movies, like stuff like Epic Movie.
Yeah.
And shit like that scary movie. What's great about them is that they follow the formula because they're making fun of the formula.
Do you like these kind of movies?
I love them.
Okay.
I love parodies.
Didn't know. I felt like you did because we talk about Airplane all the time. I know you love Airplane.
And to me, parodies are the funnest type of ideas to think I fuck
Scary
with those.
movies. I fuck with those.
Yeah,
I love those.
yeah. I like Naked Guns, parodying all those procedural.
Yep.
Yeah. I'm all about that.
All about it.
Just
that's good comedy. At the end of the day, it's also just great, pure good comedy.
Yeah, well, because then when you're writing, you don't have to worry about story structure because you're making fun of that structure, so it's laid out for you.
I love that shit.
Yeah.
All right, you ready?
Yes, I'm ready. Let's do this.
All right.
I'm excited. I should have seen this movie a while ago. This is like one of those right up my alley.
Inspired by a true story.
That's funny.
Walking Tall. Credits roll while guitar plays. Okay. We see panning shots of like the water and like and just that straight up that Creedence Clearwater kind of music. You know what I mean? One more silver dollar, like that shit. You know what I mean? Pan up, and then it pans up to like across the water to a boat, and then the pans up on the boat, and we see our lead, Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson.
Oh.
And he's young Dwayne. And he's hot.
Okay.
Hot as shit.
Okay.
Right? He's on a ferry boat and it's taking him into a small town. He's walking through this small town as the credits roll. Okay?
Yeah.
Why are you looking at me like that?
Okay, so I totally got this wrong. Jesus.
Yo! You don't even know if you got it wrong yet. That's what's so good about it. That's crazy. Because the listeners are like, oh, he's at that point right now where he's like, pretty sure I got this wrong. But you know what? Nigga, it's so possible that I didn't still. I can see it in your eyes. You're like, I'm going to hold on to it, and I might be right.
I think, oh, man, what happened to me?
So, credits are rolling. He sees he comes up on an abandoned baby.
Yeah.
All right? And then he's like looking at the baby, and he looks to the right. There's a lady buying drugs in the corner. And he's like, what the fuck? You know what I mean? And the lady, like, drug that lady comes back to her baby, starts pushing. He keeps walking. Song's still playing.
Right.
All right? He gets to an even more rural part. This is a small town that he's in, like small town vibe. Like, you know that Fresno feeling when you walking around to Chico's, like that part of town?
Yeah.
So he was in that part of town, and now he's like in where Dave lives. Like, nigga, now he's walking through rural, house,
like
big
country.
gas,
He's running through
house.
country. He's walking through country.
Exact country. That's the best way to put it. Yeah. So now he's walking through that. Song's still playing, and he comes up on a lumber place. There's like some Woodland Lumber Mills, and it's like it looks abandoned and closed, and he's looking at it like, what the fuck? And he looks disappointed, and then he walks up even more, and it's a notice for closure sign on it. And he's like, he just looks really disappointed. Right? He looks sad. Right then, a sheriff pulls up. Whoop, whoop. And they're like, hey, excuse me, sir, can we help you? And then The Rock's like, what's going on with the mill? What happened to it closing? And the cop goes, yeah, mill closed, years back, blah, blah, blah. You're looking for work now. The casino's where everybody in the town works now. It's right down the way, blah, blah, blah. And then The Rock's like, I don't know if I want to work in a casino. And then he like turns to keep walking, right?
Right.
And the sheriff's kind of looking at him, and the sheriff notices he has a military bag on this thing.
Right.
You know what I mean? Has their names on it real big. And he goes, Chris Vaughn. Yo, you're Chris Vaughn? And he looks, and he's like, oh, shit. Hey, man, I know all about you. I know your folks. I know everything about you, man. I'm Sheriff Sam Watkins. And The Rock's like, oh, what's up? And he tells, and then he's like, hey, do it. Get on out here, man. Pay respects. This is real live military soldier, bird colonel, like vet, blah, blah, blah. Like all the stuff. You know what I mean? Like a big military guy.
Right.
And he's like, Are you like? Or now
Okay.
you're like, oh shit,
Okay.
this is inspired by a true story. You're getting fucked up. They're like, what are we watching right
Yeah.
here? I can see your face. Like you just leaned in. I just got you like, yo, what is this movie?
Okay, what's happening?
Yo, never get inspired by a true story. We'll talk about that later too.
Okay.
All right. This is cool. So he forces like the sheriff's like, blah blah blah. He keeps talking to him, and the Rock's kind of trying to ignore him. And then the sheriff's trying to give him a ride home. It's like, man, you gotta let me give you a ride home. Like, please let me give you a ride home. I was like, no, I don't want to ride home. It's like, I'll pull this gun on you, bro. Don't make me pull this gun on you. I'm giving Chris Vaughn a ride home. And he's like, all right, So the Rock gets in the car and he's riding home with him. And then the dude's telling him like, man, how long you been gone? The Rock's like 8 years. He's like, whoa, blah blah blah. 8 years is crazy. And then the Rock's like, hey, what happened to Sheriff like Covington, the last sheriff or whatever?
Right.
And then the guy goes, oh man, old sheriff, man, he's a great guy, man. He apparently he died in a car crash a few years, like 4 or 5 years back. Car folded up like an accordion. And the Rock was just like, he's like, okay, like damn, like taking it in, like fuck,
Right.
And then as they drop him off, they keep talking, and then he gets out the car, and then the sheriff's like, oh, Chris, now that you're back in town, man, hey, if you don't mind, and he hands him a pamphlet, and then the Rock looks at it, and it's a picture of the sheriff, and it's like, vote for me. He's like, it's election season, if you don't mind. And the Rock's like that, like nods and turns around to it, and it's like a ranch, like like his house, right?
Right.
So he's walking up the ranch, and right then a girl comes out, and she goes, "Can I help you?" He looks at her, and she goes, "Ah!" And then she runs up and she jumps on him, and he's like, "Ah, what you doing, little sis?" She's like, "Big bro," and she's hugging him, and she has on and he's like, "Look at you, girl," and she has on an EMT outfit. Like, whoa. And she's like, well, I couldn't let you be the only one in uniform in this house, sucker.
Right.
He's like, all right. He's like proud of her. And then she's like real cute too. And then she's like, hey, mama. And then she comes out, and the mom's like, this late mom comes out. She's like, oh, she's like, Chris. She runs up and she hugs him, and she's all happy. And then she's like, how long do we have you? He's like, forever. And she's like, ah! Like she double freaks out. She hugs him again. And then the dad comes out, and the dad it's like real stoic and kind of looks at him. He looks at the dad, and they just kind of look at each other.
Right.
All right. So they're eating dinner. They're all at the table now. They're eating dinner. They're all laughing, just talking, having a good time. The sister's son comes out. She's like, oh, Pete, look who's here. Pete is Zero from Holes.
Oh. Oh.
Just let you process. You tell me when you're ready, buddy.
Yeah. All right, we're good.
We're good?
Yeah.
Well, I'm on your time. All right? Don't you ever forget that. So Zero, okay, is in this movie. He's a little older, but like in that era of time. When
was this movie made?
2003, 4?
Okay, wow, that's old.
Yeah. So young Rock, I thought young. He's fucking shredded.
Yeah.
Okay. So the Pete kids kind of like looking at him like standoffish, like not wanting to talk to him. You know what I mean?
Right.
Pretty much being Zero, and literally, and she's like, Pete, are you gonna stay? He's like, I'm camping, and then Brother Rock goes, your tent's gonna catch water, and then he goes, if you want, I'll rig it for you. And then he looks at you like, it doesn't look like it's gonna rain tonight, Colonel. And he looks outside and it's like clear. And then Rock goes, all right, but I was a sergeant. And then the guy goes, oh, you are a grunt. And he looks at him and he goes, you ever kill anybody? And then the family's like, Pete. And he kind of just looks at him. And then he asks, and then he doesn't say anything. And then he asks, like, hey, you teach me how to shoot? You teach me how to shoot a gun? And then the Rock, in a roundabout way, he says no, like really politely. He's like, guns aren't really that fun, blah, blah, blah. And he's like, you just kind of like that, like a way to say no,
Right.
And then the kid like, whatever, and he leaves.
Yeah.
Okay?
Jesus.
Yeah, he's attitude. Yeah, that kind of kid. You can see him. You can see him, right?
Yeah, relax.
So
that's why he won't teach you how to shoot a gun. You gotta relax, bro.
Yeah, there's all this spunk.
This is clearly some bad decisions in there.
Yeah. So you're good. So it's raining, of course, later that night, hard. And the Rock's he's shirtless, like unpacking. Dude, this dude is. I had to write about how hot this nigga is. And fuck being gay. Appreciate a specimen. You appreciate an alligator when you see it up close, don't you, nigga? You know what I mean? You don't appreciate a motherfucking elephant. Appreciate the Rock when he has his shirt off. So here's Pete.
You want to talk about anything?
Oh no, I'm fine.
Okay, cool.
Hold on, let me just. Put her down. So he throws, like Pete comes in. He's like unpacking the Rock, right?
Right.
And Pete comes in, he's soaked. And The Rock's kind of looking at him. He's smiling. He doesn't say anything. And then the kid's like going through his drawer. He's all mad. And he looks at him. He's like, okay, it rained. You happy? And The Rock goes, no. And then he just keeps unpacking, right? And then he goes, The Rock goes, hey, man, well, it's raining so crazy. Why don't you just crash on the floor and, I'll crash on the bed. And then Pete looks at him crazy. He's like, okay, I'll crash on the floor. Your bed. And then he's like, no, don't worry about it. I'll go outside. And he goes outside and then he goes, all right, hold on. And then The Rock throws him like this cool like military rain canvas. Right. He's like, here, so you don't get wet. And then Pete's like still wanting to be mad at him, and he goes off. Okay. He's a young kid, by the way. When you see him, he's that like probably like
12.
11, 12. Yep, 11, 12.
And that seems to be the vibe.
To this kind of behavior.
This kind of behavior.
It's like, why are you being 12? Yeah, just be cool with him. You already like him. Just be cool with him.
Yeah, it's a 12-year-old.
So he goes to walk off, right? And then right then he stops and he looks and he goes, you really kill people? And The Rock just stares at him. And they just have this intense stare off for a while.
Oh my God.
Yeah. It's crazy. It's actually kind of funny. Me and Sam did laugh. Like, yo, this is crazy. This is way.
It's too long. They're just looking at each other.
Yeah, just The Rock's like, So the next day, it's The Rock, and it's the morning, and he's outside, and he's like working on the stoop, like their stoop, like building them, trying to build them a new one, like some wood, he's hammering and shit. And then right then you hear, you see a trailer pulling up, like a Ron Taylor van looking shit. Yeah. You know what I mean? Someone would live in.
Right.
Pulling up, and you hear somebody singing real loud, and they hop out, and they go, and then The Rock looks up and he goes, Ray Ray, and the guy goes, hello, Puddin', and it's Johnny Knoxville.
Oh. I remember this movie now.
I was waiting. I was like,
I remember this movie now.
This was a big movie at the time. So
I remember this movie now.
I was gonna wait and see if you ever.
There it is. The Rock and Johnny Knoxville. Now this all is coming together. I remember these trailers now. Yeah, there was like a school bus in one of the shots, if I remember correctly, or like a big gun. One of the two. Both those things I remember from the trailer.
I'll let you know now because you know what it is. No,
Yeah.
No school bus, no big guns.
Really?
Yeah.
I still remember those, and I stick by it. Yep. Yep.
I saw it this morning. Right?
I know.
I typed it out.
Right. I don't know what to tell you.
Okay.
I choose to believe. This is what I choose to believe, and even after the movie, I'll choose to believe it.
Even after you watch it later in a couple days.
Really, right now, it's your move.
Okay.
You know where I stand.
Fair. I guess not fair or not fair enough. Either one.
Yeah.
Hello, Puddin'. And then The Rock goes, man, what's that? He's like, oh, it's the love machine. And then The Rock goes, girl's getting that. And he goes, and then they hug. And he's like, want a beer? The Rock's like, want a beer? And he's like, oh, no, man. I quit drinking. I'll take a soda, though. So he grabs a soda, and they sit down. And he's asking him, like, man, how you been, blah, blah, blah. And he's like, well, when you left town, man, everybody was so proud of you. You went to go do something with your life. I was like, well, I think I ought to do something with my life. So I moved down to Louisiana, and I got into music and joined a band, learned how to play guitar. And then I got into music and drugs. And then I just got into drugs. And, yeah, man, it got really bad. And then he goes, but look at me now, And The Rock's like, oh, I'm sorry to hear that. He's like, it's all good. Been clean.
Wow, that was kind of my guess for the movie, just like in a sentence.
Oh, you're that part?
Yeah, that part.
Johnny Knoxville's backstory was
nailed
your
it.
guess.
Yeah, Johnny Knoxville's backstory, I fucking nailed, bro.
Got into music. Yeah, got into music.
Went up and then got into
music and drugs. Just got into drugs.
Yeah.
And now, like I said,
now he's finding a piece. Yeah.
Leveled out. You're right. Now he leveled out.
Yeah.
Clean and sober, drinking sodas.
Thank you for saving me, Johnny Knoxville. I don't feel like a complete idiot right now.
So he's like sober 14 months, clean and sober, and I got a construction job, living good. And then he goes, and it's also Saturday. And then The Rock goes, as in, he goes, kickoff's in 20 minutes. And The Rock goes, no. Cut to, they're at a football field. It's like 5 guys. They're all in like sweats and like they're about to play golf, and they're all saluting him like this as he gets out of his car and he gets out, and then they all start laughing, right? And they all go, "Oh, Chris!" and they all hug him and freak out that he's home, right? And then he's like, "You guys are still doing this shit?" And they're like, "Man, hell yeah, you know it, dog. Saturday football, baby." You know what I mean? And which also looked really fun. And then he looks over and as they're walking on the football field, and he goes, "Hamilton Field." And he goes, when did that happen? And they go, well, when his folks passed, he closed the mill. He closed the mill. His parents closed the mill. And he goes, why? And he goes, why would he? No, he said, when his folks passed, he closed the mill. And then they don't say you. And he goes, why would he do that? And then you hear, to open my new casino. And he turns around and there's a ball coming at him. He catches it. And then there's this cool white guy walking up who you recognize from everything. You see Minority Report?
Yes.
Yo, all right, because I just saw this and he was one of the main guys in this. Not Tom Cruise, but he's the other man.
The other guy that's...
The other cop that's on
his team.
Him.
His partner.
Him. He's a good guy in that movie, though.
Yeah.
So him in this.
Yeah, he's the one who ends up believing Hanks, right?
Yeah.
Not Hanks, Cruise.
Cruise, yeah, he's the one that believes him, yeah. So he's in this. Mm-hmm. And he walks up, and then they're kind of like, they're talking shit to each other for a second, like about the military and then about his career. And then they shake hands, like, what up, boy? And then he goes, what brings you home? And The Rock's like, I just wanted to relax. And he goes, you? Relax? Not today. Game starts, right? Bro, full contact football.
Nice. Oh, with The Rock?
These dudes ain't little either, bro.
Okay, that's fair, but still.
Yeah, it's still, obviously, he's way bigger than everybody. But, like size-wise, like, yeah, he'd have been taking some hits, too, from the niggas. You know what I mean?
Have you ever seen the picture for The Rock next to Vin Diesel? And you just see how small Vin Diesel is compared to The Rock? I can't imagine anyone want to play
bro,
football.
You ever see the picture of nigga, who is it? It's like Andre the Giant and the motherfucking Arnold Schwarzenegger.
No.
It's the best, bro. It's like, what? Think about how big Arnold Schwarzenegger is. Nigga looks like a fucking baby next to him, dog. So, they like full contact, right? And then little Pete, he pulls up on like a little moped and he's watching from the stands. So The Rock, he's walking by, like lifting one of the players up who just got waxed, and then he looks at the J guy and he goes, full contact, huh? And he's like, no, it's 2-hand touch, baby. Just gets a little rough. So they keep playing this music blast, and just everybody's having a good time talking shit. You know what I mean? Just going back and forth, scoring touchdowns, throwing, going back and forth.
Yeah.
And The Rock looks over, he notices Pete's hanging out with some other kids, and they're smoking weed. Mm-hmm. And like he's looking at him, and then he goes back to the game, and then one of the kids offers Pete some weed, and Pete's like, "No, I'm good." You know what I mean? And so they're just still watching. They're all just like watching the game, like talking, laughing, like and shit. And then game's getting really intense, and like the last play comes up. It's like down to the wire, like this is for the win, right?
Right.
So Jay looks at one of the guys and he says, "Hey, go low on The Rock's right knee." His left knee. He's like, "Go low on that left knee." The guy's like, "All right." So they line up. Rock, he's quarterback. He drops back, throws one to Johnny Knoxville. As he throws it, right when he throws it, the guy literally goes low and just fucking clips his left knee. Poof, takes him out. Yeah. And then right then, he kind of throws like a little high pass because of that. And then the J dude clotheslines Johnny Knoxville.
Jesus.
Yeah, just hardcore. And then Jay's like, we win. He's like real intense. Like, we win. Like really like way, like you said,
too
Jesus,
much.
Way too much. So, by the way, the dude who went low on The Rock, you'd recognize him too. It's the dude from 3:10 to Yuma. They're gonna hang me in the morning. Till the night is done. Gonna hang you in the morning. And then Russell Crowe kills him
with the fork?
and he sings it back to him.
Yeah, the fork, right?
Yeah, that nigga. And he also deserves. That guy's a piece of shit in that movie.
Yeah.
He's a piece of shit in this movie too, clearly.
Yeah. Just as an aside, because I've been watching a lot of Game of Thrones, it's crazy how old forks used to look.
Yeah, the two.
Yeah, the two.
Prongs?
Yeah,
that's how like everybody did it, and I was like, that was dumb.
Right? When was the third prong technology added? That changed the game, bro.
They were like, yo, what are we doing with 3? Let's just put the 4th on.
Yeah, you talk about old money. 3-prong fork? Whoever has that 3-prong fork money, man, fucking grandparents, grandchildren on grandchildren on grandchildren are rich. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's like spork money. So.
Yeah. Not even. You need the 3-prong fork before you even get the spork, bro. Don't disrespect the fork like that.
The fork.
The fork,
I wonder
bro.
if anybody patented it. Or if it was just...
Or if it's wide open for anybody right now.
Anybody can make forks. Damn, that would suck.
So, back to the football.
The football game just ended.
Yeah, football game just ended, yeah.
So, right then, the 310 Yuma guy, he's trying to help up The Rock, and like The Rock's kind of holding his knee. He's like, "Oh, you need some help, old timer?" And then The Rock just hops up. He's like, "No, I'm good," And then everyone cuts to, he's looking at him, and then everyone leaves, right? They're all pulling off. And then it's still The Rock, Johnny Knoxville, and the J dude. Okay, and the J dude's like, he's loading up his Escalade, and he's acting like, he's like, "Oh, is that the bad knee?" He's acting like he didn't know that was his bad knee.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then he's like, "Yeah." He's like, "Oh, well, it's good to have you back, man, Chris." And then he's like, "Hey, if you're not doing anything later, come by the casino. Drinks are on me." And The Rock looks at him. He's like, "All right, cool." And he's like, "All right, I'll see you guys later."
Yeah.
He leaves. So right then, the little Pete dude pulls up. And he's like, hey, Sarge, good game. And he's about to pull off. He's like, hey, Pete, hold on. And he runs up to him. He's like, maybe next time I won't see you smoking weed in the bleachers. And Pete looks at him. He's like, and then he just drives off.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
That's how you get a kid to start smoking weed.
Especially when they didn't.
Well, yeah, now he wants to smoke.
Because if he did, he would have a different vibe. But since he didn't, he has that vibe of like,
man, I'll smoke weed next time just to prove you right.
Yeah, exactly, motherfucker. Since I didn't, because I didn't want to smoke weed.
Yeah, but now I want to.
Exactly. That is the mentality of a kid. It's like, now I want to. So that's a good point. Like a sign breaking down this kid for no reason, but I love it.
Well, he's asked to shoot a gun. He's a part of the movie. He's gonna be in it. He is definitely a part of this movie.
You said he's gonna do something.
He's gonna do something bad.
He's gonna do something that's gonna
that's gonna set off a chain of events, or he's gonna be the guy he has to save.
Ooh.
One of the two.
Ooh. Interesting. So they're pulling up to the casino. And The Rock's like, man, I thought you had to be Native American to own a casino. And Johnny Knoxville's like, what the hell are you talking about? You know what I mean? And so him and all the boys, they're talking shit as they walk up, and it's his boys from the game, the Wild Cherry Casino, right? And it's a shitty looking kind of casino in the middle of nowhere,
right?
You know what I mean? And they get inside, it's fucking packed, hot girls everywhere. Knoxville is talking about like how crazy this casino is and how crazy it can get here and blah blah blah, right? So right then they get invited up to Mr. Hamilton's VIP lounge. You know, so they go up and the J dude walks out and he's all suited and booted and he's like, hey boys, hey guys, drinks are on the house. If you want a woman, let me know. I'll hook that up. You know, hookers on me. And if you want to gamble, I got all of you guys a line of credit. Have fun tonight. Pretty much the greatest casino experience you could possibly have.
Yeah, right? Like, you guys, here's money to blow. Here's
drinks.
Here's women to
here's
blow.
hookers.
And then here's,
here's blow.
Here's blow. Yeah. There's a lot of blowing happening in this experience.
Actually, I mean, that's pretty good host. Sounds like to me.
Yeah. You tell me you went to a party and they're like, here's some money, a prostitute, and drugs and alcohol. It's a good party.
Great party.
Yeah.
I like you.
Yeah. Oh, wow.
You're a good guy. Or girl, whoever you are.
Very generous. Very generous human being.
Yes. So, after Jay that says all that, and they're like, hey, where you going? He's like, I'm gonna go have fun, and he closes like these doors, and like it's a bunch of hookers in his room, right? Like a hot bitch, you know. Right. And they're just like, "Whoa, look at that guy, he's killing it," you know. So then they go to a private lounge part of the casino, and they're just celebrating, taking shots, being a VIP. And then the boys take The Rock to a private room, and they're like, everyone's scared the first time. He's like, oh, I don't want to do it, And they take him in the private room, and then they put money in a slot, and they're like, all right, have a good time, you know. And they close the door. So The Rock's like, oh man, he's kind of drunk, and he's looking, and the thing opens up, and then fire, and it's a hot ass bitch in a fireman's outfit in like a stripper pole.
Okay,
you know what I mean?
Okay,
it's a fire, and then she starts going, and she's bad. She starts taking all the stuff off slowly. You know what I mean? And then The Rock's like, she's like trying to be like, you know, he's just like not trying to look away. He's just like,
it's not what he's here for.
Yeah, you know, he's kind of think you tell he's not that kind of guy, but it's still like I'm not gonna. This is like right, she's bad. Like she's bad.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So. She keeps dancing, and she starts talking to him because it's the one-way glass. You can't see through it, you know. And she goes, "You out of town or you visiting?" And he's like, "A little bit of both." He's like, "I grew up here." And then she's like, "Oh, you're just here to see some old faces?" And then he looks at her. She takes off her helmet and he notices her. The fireman, he's like, "Yeah, you could say that," you know. And then she's like, "Your voice sounds so familiar." And he's like, "Yeah." And then she cuts the lights on. She's like, Chris, and she hits the button and it like goes down. He's like, "Oh wait," you know, and then and the door opens. You know what I mean? Yeah. So like, right? So he goes back out. His boys are kind of like they're fucking, you know, they're at like shit face having a good time. And he looks over and he sees the dude who hit him low. He's like selling drugs. Right. He sees him like slide some niggas like. You know, he sees like an exchange happening. Right. You know, he's like, he just kind of notices that. I'm like, what the fuck? You know what I mean? And he grabs his boys and they go upstairs. He's like, let's go gamble. So they go to shoot craps. So he doesn't want to bet that much money. And then these two hot girls like to convince The Rock to like gamble some more. And he's like, all right, you know, and they all smile. So as he's going to get more money, he looks at the dealer and he notices the dealer switch out the dice.
Right.
All right. Because he's happy and he's like, what the, you know? And then right then he gets real mad and he sees his friend about to roll. And he goes, Jimmy, don't. And then he rolls and he loses, right? And then he gets so mad and he looks at the dude and he goes, you're good, but I saw it. And then the guy's like, what? He's like, I saw it. I saw the switch. He's like, this is a clean game, asshole. He's like, yeah? And then he takes the dice. He's like, all right, I want everybody to bet. Everyone bet that I bet I roll a 7. And they're like, yo, it's not your roll, sir. Security, it's not your roll, sir. He's like, no, everybody put money down. And he puts a fucking big wad of money down. So everybody's like, all right. So everybody starts putting money down. And he's like, oh, it's not your roll, sir. And he rolls 7. Everybody goes fucking nuts. Because it's like so much money is now on the table. You know what I mean? Right. And then right then security comes up and he's like, no payout. It was not his roll. It doesn't count. And The Rock's like, yo, these dice are loaded, blah, blah, blah. Give me my money. Somebody needs to give me my money. This is bullshit. And give me my friend's money. You know, he starts going up. And then right then when the security guys put him in like a full Nelson. And it's The Rock. So you can imagine that doesn't go great.
Yeah. Oh, I thought you said The Rock puts him in a full Nelson. I was like, whoa.
No. Like
Eddie
The Rock's
Murphy.
like, this is loaded dice. I want my money back. This is bullshit. You know, these aren't real. And then somebody puts him in one of those.
Yeah.
And then just boom, because he's special forces. Just boom, and then just bam, fucks this guy up immediately.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then right then, just 2 more dudes try to get on him, and then he fucks them up. Pow, pow, boom. Boom! Fucks them 2 dudes up, you know? And then he just starts, because now everybody's coming at it, and he just starts fucking kicking everyone's ass.
Jesus.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so Knoxville, he's playing a game, like this game. You know those games where you hit a thing to make a ball go up?
Yeah.
But instead, it's a stripper in the thing, right? So if you hit her, and you're hitting with another guy, and whoever hits her to the top first, the water hits her.
Okay.
So now they're playing that game.
Okay.
It's really fun.
That's a great game.
It looks fun enough that I was like, I'm going to describe this game.
Yeah. That's a game that you win if you play. You don't gotta win.
Oh yeah, you just win if you're there, baby. Yeah. You win if you watch.
You win if you're in the area. Yeah.
So they're playing there, and then Johnny wins. And he has this big sledgehammer, and he looks over and he sees him fighting on security, and then he sees the security like heading towards him, and he takes that thing, wham, fucks the guy up. Real friend, you know what I mean? Fucks the dude up, and then right then he tries to get like another dude, like to choke another dude out with the thing, security, and then the security headbutts him and then just knocks him out completely.
Right.
Like, because he's just a little guy,
Yeah,
so he's out.
Yeah.
You know, and then the guy's like, done. Hey, and he's done. Right. So Rock's still fucking people up, right? And then a guy grabs a knife, and like a guy's a guy has a gun. Like, pulls a gun, and he tries to shoot him, and then The Rock shoot, like, bam, fucks him up, stops him, and then right then a guy goes to tase him, and he hits him a little bit, he's like, stops it, fucks that guy up, and then as he's doing that, like, he looks over, and then another guy knocks him out. All right? So when he comes to, he's on a table, tied up. He's like, what the fuck? You know? And he's surrounded by all the J dude's guys.
Yeah.
All right? And then the guy's like, special forces, huh? I'll take that. And it's the 310 human guy, and he grabs his necklace, and he rips it off, and The Rock fucking bam, like headbutts him because he's close enough.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And he's like, mother, and then he fucking hard. And The Rock's, you know?
Yeah.
He's like that, you know? He's fucked up. And then the guy grabs a knife, like a box cutter. He goes, like that. And then the homeboy goes, what are you doing? And he's like, special forces, special treatment. Slices his shirt open. And then he's like, everybody hold him. And he's like, yo, this guy knows Hamilton. They're like friends. And he's like, I don't give a shit. Hold him. And they're like, wait. And then he starts, and The Rock goes, ah! And he starts slicing his stomach up. You don't see it. But you just hear the, you know, and then it fades out. All right? Fades back in. The Rock is, you don't see The Rock. You see a semi-truck like pulling up and then stopping, and then it's and then you see it pans down. The Rock's on the street with a hand up, covered in blood, just coughing up blood, and then it fades back out, and then he fall. You know what I mean? So, right? The fuck is this true story? What is this? Right? So, the doctor is now talking to the family.
Right.
All right. And he's telling them how, whoever did this to him, they left him for dead. Any lesser man would have definitely survived. His guts were pretty much out. Like, no way he should even survive this, you know? And then right then the sheriff is there, and he starts asking questions, but they're loaded, if that makes sense.
And they're anti-Rock.
Yes.
Okay.
And the sister's the EMT. She's like, why are you asking these kind of questions? What are you questioning my brother like this? And he's like, whoa, just trying to get the full story. That's all I'm doing. Just here to get my job, just get the full story. That's all I'm here for. And then, he goes off more. And then he's like, hey, just so you know, I'm going to find out who did this, but I also have to get a full report. And then he's like, let me know when he wakes up because I need to talk to him. And he leaves, right? And then so the family, they go in, and Like they just like he's knocked out and they just hug each other, Wreck and Warrior, right? So it's like it's now later. Time passed. Knoxville's coming to see him. He steals flowers from another room, right? And then he like as he like no, and then he comes in, right? And then as he's like right then, I said, "Oh, great flowers, right?" The Rock's up. He's like, "Oh, thanks, man," you know. And then he's like, "They don't teach you how to fight in the army," you know, because he's like he's fucked up,
right?
He's like kind of smiles, you know, and he's like, "Man, you okay?" And the Rock's like, "Hell of a homecoming party." And he's like, I don't know if you noticed, man. It's like, this ain't really home no more. You know, that's what Johnny Knoxville says to The Rock, right?
Right.
And then so more time passes. He's finally getting driven home, right? He's healed up a little bit more. His mom is helping him out the car. Pete's just kind of watching him struggle, get up the stairs, you know what I mean? And he finally goes, "Need help?" And The Rock's like, "Nah, I got it." You know, he's struggling up. And he's like, "We got crutches in the garage if you need them." And The Rock kind of laughs, right? So then, cut to a montage happens.
Oh, montage.
The Rock on the couch.
Right.
Just different shots of him on the couch. And he's just trying to get comfortable. Just trying to lay, trying to sit, you know what I mean? And he's trying, like him and Johnny Knoxville watch something and something funny happens and Johnny starts laughing and he goes to laugh and he's in like so much pain. And then he gets annoyed that he's laughing, you know what I mean? And then more time passes and he's finally like can sit a little bit and then more time and he's now doing like sit-ups and crunches and Dad's like, "Hey, feeling better?" He's like, "Oh, a little bit." And he's finally like he's back to okay, you know? Right. So he's coming in the garage and he opens up his like a tarp and it's a truck under it, like an old truck. And he smiles, you know? And then he gets in and he cuts it on. He's like, cuts on good. He's like, "Oh, man." And then his dad walks up. He's like, "Well, now, I always hated your career choice, but I couldn't take it out on this innocent truck. Had to keep it for you." You know, and he smiles like, "Thanks, Pop." You know what I mean? And he's like, "Hey, I'm going into town to get some supplies. Want to come with me?" He's like, "Hell yeah." So they get in the truck, they drive off, right? They're talking about like, he's like, "Man, when you were a little kid, all you ever wanted to do was leave. Why are you back?" You know, he's like, "Honestly, the mill." He's like, "I wanted to just come back and work for the mill." You know what I mean? He's like, "I miss that smell of fresh cut cedar every morning. I miss just being part of everything." He starts talking about just being a part of the town and like all that stuff and like that kind of like job where it's like just for the whole town. The whole community has this job.
Yeah, the feeling of community is strong.
Exactly.
You need that. Yeah.
So later, they're talking and shit, and he's telling him how the dad's telling him how like things were not a lot nicer also before the mill closed. Mm-hmm. Things got a little dark after that. And they're driving through the town just talking about how it changed. So later, The Rock is back at his place, right? And he's unloading all the wood that him and his dad just got. And the J dude shows up in the Escalade. And he's kind of like, it's quiet. And The Rock doesn't stop working. He just, like, it's quiet for a second. And The Rock just keeps working while the dude's kind of looking at him. Yeah. And he's like, because The Rock's not acknowledging him.
Right.
And he's like, "Hey, man, it's like, first of all, I want to say thank you for making that stick man. When he's fired and we pulled his gambling license and he'll never be allowed to gamble, like be a dealer in any state again. And I hate that. I don't know how my security missed it." And then Chris like, he's like, "Man, it seems like your security misses a lot around there." And he just keeps working, right? Mm-hmm. And he's like, "Oh, man, I hate seeing you like this, man. I just hate seeing you like this." He's like, "Your boys did this." And he was like, "Well, yeah, I mean, they got a little rough, but I mean, they said you went crazy." And then he looks at him and he's like, I'm sorry. I know it's not what I mean." He's like, and then he's like, I just mean, it got a little out of hand. And then The Rock's like, "Man, what the fuck are you talking about?" And he's like, listen, you tore up my place and you tore up my boys, man. And they wanted to press charges. I was the one who told them not to. And Chris, he's just kind of looking at him. And then he's like, "Look, Chris, I just want to bring you inside. I want to make you the head of my security." And he's like, "What did you say?" He's like, "I want to make you head of my security." He's like, "No." And he's like, "Well, all right, I figure you're going to need some time to think about this, and anyway, this is for you." And he hands him a big wad of money, like in an envelope. Right?
Like that's a hush money?
Uh-huh. Yeah. A huge wad. And The Rock looks at it and he's like, "No." And he slams it like to his chest like that. And he's like, "Oh, come on, man, don't be like that." And The Rock goes, "I'm going to the sheriff. I'm going to the police." And then he's like, "Well, sorry you feel that way." And he turns and he leaves. All right? So,
oh, God, that's so naive to think the police are going to care.
He goes, "See you around, Chris." All right? Drives off. Well, any horrible person got to get that last. Anytime anybody gets that last word on you, bro, like that, fuck it, don't even go to sleep that night. When somebody says, see you around, and you, especially after you told them no, and they go, see you around. Don't trust that person ever.
Yeah. What's another? It's paid in full. Same shit. If you say something negative and they say see you around, they are planning to murder you.
If you say something negative and they end it with, you know what, man, I'll see you around.
They're gonna fucking murder you, bro. That is...
Not fuck around, not hurt you.
Those are murder words.
Those are also people who go, when they say, those are people who are like, oh, I'll do whatever to protect whatever.
Whatever. Yeah.
I'll do whatever to protect whatever. That's a good way to put it. So, Rock goes to the sheriff's office, right after that. And he's excuse
Clearly
me.
gonna be bought out.
Yep. Excuse me. Everybody's ignoring him. Excuse me. Finally, the sheriff Watkins comes up. Like, hey, Chris, how's it going, man? Because everybody's ignoring him. He's like, hey, man, I'm here to press charges. And he's like, oh, not about that incident, right? And he's like, yeah. He's like, oh, well, we can't do that because that's closed. He's like, you're lucky, they didn't press charges against you. And then he's like, well, did you even look into it? Did you look into anything? Did you do any police work? And he's like, oh, well, they did the casino did an internal investigation and they found out, what they needed to find out on their own. And then he's like, what are you talking about? And he's like, look, Chris, since the mill closed, that's the main source of revenue in this town. So they kind of get to do things a little differently. You know what I mean?
Real. That's real.
And he looks at him and the Rock's there and he goes, the case was closed. And he says that to the Rock. And he goes, I'm not going to let this stand. And looks at the Rock and he goes, excuse me? What'd you say to me? The sheriff? And he goes, and the Rock's like, I'm not going to let this stand. And he goes, you're lucky to be alive. This is my town. I'm the sheriff. Now please get out of my building. All right? Rock leaves pissed. Doesn't say he just leaves pissed. So he goes home and that white girl stripper, she's there. She's at his place waiting for him, right?
Okay.
She's like, hey, hi, and he's like, oh, come in. And then she's like, I just wanted to bring you this. And she's like, and it's his jacket from that night.
Okay.
He left it from, remember when the dance ended abruptly? He left his jacket in the room.
Okay.
So she's like, I just wanted to bring it to you. And he's like, oh, thank you. And she's like, oh, it's nice to see you. And then she looks over and the mom's like, hey, Danny. Her name's Danny. And he's like, oh, she's like, hey, Miss Vaughn. And he's like, you want to go for a walk? And then they go for a walk and the Rock kind of looks at the mom. The mom's like, he's like, and then they walk off, right?
Yeah.
So they're walking down, they're talking, and he's telling her how awful the sheriff is and like how terrible he was and blah, blah, blah. And she's like, sounds like you should take his job. And he's like, someone probably should. And then they just keep talking, right? And he talks to her about the casino and blah, blah, blah. And then he's like, how long you been there? She's like, oh, I've been there a year. And he's like, oh, with old Jay Hamilton, huh? He's like, yeah, he's a real go-getter. And then he's like, yeah, I heard he got you once. And she's like, yeah, he did. Lasted 8 minutes. And it was a long time ago, And she's like, he's like, yeah, well, you still work for him. She's like, Bill's got to get paid, Chris. And he's like, yeah, well, that's true. And she's like, well, I hope to see you around. And she leaves.
Right.
All right. So he goes back inside and he's like, so mom, like he's going to tell her what happened. And then she's on the phone, like panicked. And she's like, okay, where is he? And then she hangs up. He's like, okay, what? So right then they're pulling up on their sister, like the EMT van somewhere, right? And the sister is like working on her son, and he's being like, he's in the gurney thing, and he's got tubes and all this shit, right? And then he's like, what happened? What the fuck happened? Rock is furious. She's like, it's okay, he's stabilized. I stabilized. She's even calm, but you can tell she's crying, like she's been crying. She's like, he's stabilized. She's like, it was crystal meth. He's like, what? And she's like, yeah, it's crystal meth. And then right then you hear Pete whisper, I'm sorry. I never did it before. And then right then a kid behind him, which was the kid offering him weed earlier, goes, that's true, you guys. He didn't do it before. And we pressured him into it, man. We're sorry. We're so sorry. You know what I mean? They're like all these like young white kids and they're apologizing.
Yeah.
I mean, they're all 12 and shit. You know what I mean?
Right, so you find some meth, you do some meth. You're 12.
Yeah. But you know that age of like, because a 17-year-old would say probably they ran and left him to die.
Right.
12-year-old, you'll call the cops because you're just...
You didn't know what you got yourself into.
Exactly.
So at 17, I think you really know what you get yourself into.
17, that's why you leave the crime scene.
Yeah.
And you just live with that for the rest of your life that you know your friend died.
Yeah. 17.
That's what a 17-year-old does.
Remember when we were 17 and you just left your friends to die? And you're like, oh, we'll just deal with it.
And now you're 28 and you drink way too much.
Yeah.
Anyway. So, he's pissed. Rock's pissed, right? Mm-hmm. And then he goes up to the casino. And he's like, "Where'd you get the?" He goes up to the kid. He's like, "Where'd you get the drugs?" And the kid's all terrified. He goes, "Where'd you get the drugs?" And he's like, "The security guys at the casino." You know. And the Rock's like, and you just like the camera, just that like rage on the eyes, just, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then he goes he hops in his truck, right? And the mom's like, Chris, he pulls off, all right? And then she's like, Chris, you gotta call the police. And he's like, no, won't do any good. Pulls off, right? He drives home. The dad's like, whoa, is everything all right? What's going on with Pete? He's like, he's okay, he's fine. And he grabs his shotgun. He's like, whoa, son, not like this. Chris. And then he leaves with the shotgun. All right?
Fuck shit up, Rock. Fuck shit up.
You're with it, bro.
Fuck shit up.
Fuck
Let's
these
do this.
niggas, bro.
Let's do this.
So he pulls up to the casino.
Yes.
Fucking, just kind of ringing noise hearing. He gets out, cocks it, starts to walk. These white women see him and they take off running. They're terrified. These women just on the street, right?
Yeah.
And then he stops. He puts the gun back inside, closes the door, looks in the back of his trunk, grabs a piece of 4x4. All right? Goes inside. In the casino, everybody's kind of looking at him because he's like this, because it's kind of empty now. It's in the day. Everybody's looking at him like, what the fuck? There's a guy standing with a 2x4. And then he goes, looks at a slot machine, fucks it up, just smashes it. You know? Everybody's looking at him, and then a guy comes, oh, I've been looking for you, a security guy, and he goes, zzz, like with a taser thing, and the Rock fucking, poof, poof, boom, fucks this nigga up. He's knocked out, right? Then another cracks his shit, and then another guy comes up with a shotgun, fucking knocks the shotgun out of his hand, fucking, poof, like hits his leg, fucks the guy, the guy grabs the bar, clack, breaks all that shit. That guy screams, right? Rock moves on to the next guy. Bow, bow. Boom, fucks this nigga up with a 2x4. Just fucking need, these fight scenes are amazing, by the way. Fucking need like some straight up Jason Bourne shit. Like, what the fuck? Who's this superhero? Fucking these niggas up with this 2x4, dog.
Okay.
So he sees the guy who finally sees the guy who fucked him up in the belly, right? And then the guy has a gun in his hand. He knocks him out, but the guy knocks the wood out of his hand as well. And so now they're fighting. The guy gets a couple shots in, and then the Rock fucking finally like gets a hold of him. Yeah. Bow, 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 fucks him up, grabs the wood, bow, fucks his stomach up. And the guy's like laid out on the steps, right? So now he's just looking around. The casino was absolutely fucked up. There was one dude I forgot during the fight scene, bro. This nigga went to hit the Rock with a stool. The Rock grabs the stool in the air, pow, poof, puts it down like this, holds up his like the wood. For? And the nigga just goes, turns to run, poof, smashes his own head and like knocks his own self out. Like he was fucking niggas up like that.
Oh man, just the fear. He was beating people up by fear.
Like, just fucking niggas up, bro.
Yeah.
So he takes his chain back from the guy who stole his chain.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then he looks at Jay's office, where he's at him, and it's like reflective. So he sees down. He's staring at it. And then he takes a 2x4 and he fucking in slow-mo. All the glass falls, and then the J dude's just watching. He's just watching the whole thing. You know what I mean? I love that shot. I was like, oh, that's dope. That was action-y and corny, but I love a good action-y shot. You know what I mean? Where it's like, oh, that's a good way. That's a good action.
That's a good reveal.
Of just like, like a good, exactly, of like, like not, he wasn't scared. I mean, he was kind of like, oh, you motherfucker. Like, okay, motherfucker. You know what I mean?
Right.
And so he's looking at him, and he goes, the Rock's just breathing. And he goes, I guess the J guy goes, well, looks around. I guess this does change our relationship a little bit, huh? And then the Rock leaves, right? So the Rock leaves, he gets in his car. All you hear is his heart beating, like the noise, his heart beating and him breathing. That's all you hear. And he starts driving. And he looks in the rear view. Like you can't hear the cops, but you see just mad cops, cars. You know what I mean? Right, obviously. Right. Coming after him. Cops come coming in the front, and then he finally stops, he slows down. And then you see like the sheriff guy get up. Chris, hands in the air. He puts his hands up, and then he gets out the car, fade out. All right? So he's talking to his lawyer.
Right.
All right? And the lawyer's telling him how we can't go to trial. How you could possibly get 18 years, blah, blah, blah. All you got to do is take their deal. You get 3 months of house arrest, and then that's it. And then And then The Rock goes, man, they're only offering me a deal to keep quiet because they know they're doing shady shit and they don't want to go to court. Like, you know, and the lawyer's like, that may be, but Chris, they have a bunch of witnesses that are going to testify against you and all this shit. And Chris is like, I'm not going to stand for this. I'm not going to stand for this in my town. You know what I mean? So in court now, they're talking about how, like, because he goes to trial.
Wow.
All right? So they're talking about how he is this violently trained person, assassin. This is the other lawyer. Violently trained assassin. Now he's pretty much just a walking weapon and all these things because he's special forces. You know what I mean?
Right.
And all this shit, right? And how with even a piece of cedar, he completely single-handedly destroyed 6 men in a whole casino. You know? Just a piece
what a
of cedar.
badass.
Yeah, no, they said it like that too. With like, imagine what he would do with a gun or whatever. And it's
Yeah.
like, damn, bro, imagine what he would do with a gun.
Yeah, Jesus.
So a guy, they cut to the guy talking about how he broke his arm, and then the guy talking, the guy who sliced him up, talking about him, and they're all just talking about how he's this monster. And then they're talking to the waitresses and the bartenders, and it's just like a quick cut of just everyone just saying he's this horrible monster and like psychopath who couldn't be stopped.
Right.
You know, he's got to be behind bars. He's a psychopath, can't be stopped.
Right.
So, right then, they asked the other lawyer, like, all right, what do you have to say to represent the defendant's case? And The Rock looks at him and goes, you're fired. Right? And the guy leaves. The lawyer leaves. And The Rock stands and goes, Your Honor, I'd like to plead my own case. And the judge goes, Mr. Vaughn, if you choose to represent yourself, you can't claim a mistrial. You have to know that. He's like, very well, Mr. Honor. Very well, Your Honor. You know? He's like, okay. You know, go on, Mr. Vaughn. And then
He represented himself in court?
So he
That's
stands
crazy.
up.
That's generally a terrible idea.
He goes, I don't deny anything said here today. You know? And then the judge goes, then the other lawyer goes, so you're guilty. You know? And then the judge goes, are you guilty? And then he's like, no, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying, you know, and then they go, oh, sorry. Like the lawyers immediately start, you know what I mean? Like every word out of his mouth, lawyering him, you know? And then he stops and he goes, I grew up in this town. People used to walk tall in this town. He's like, and they wouldn't, he said, the people in this town wouldn't trade a mill for a casino and watch drugs be sold to kids. And then, you know, and people kind of like look up, you know, like, whoa, what the fuck? Like, because the whole town's there. It's a small town.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then they're like, whoa. And then the judge goes, Mr. Vaughn, you know, objection, blah, blah, blah. You can't say that, blah, blah, blah. And then he goes, and then The Rock keeps talking. He goes, if you acquit me of all charges, I want everyone to know I'm going to run for sheriff. And the crowd's like, whoa, you know? And they're like, order, Mr. Vaughn, you are now charged with contempt. And he goes, and I'll make sure this never happens to anyone else again. And he does his shirt. And, bro, it looks like tentacles are crawling out of him. His stomach is fucked up, just shredded. You know what I mean? And he's shredded.
Yeah. Jesus.
But, yeah, just disgusted. It was like, oh, wow, his intestines probably would have came out. You know, like when that happened.
Yeah.
Like just dirt, like fucked up shit. And the crowd's like, they're like, oh my God, so gross, you know, blah, blah, blah. And the crowd's like, order. And cut to. He's back in, his head's down, and the jury, we define the defendant, Chris Vaughn, not guilty. Town goes nuts. Oh my God, blah, blah, blah. So Jay and his boys are looking at each other, they're pissed, right? And then The Rock, he looks at this is so movie though. I love this, that they threw this in there. The Rock grabs his 2x4, he looks at the judge and he goes, this is mine. He snatches it off the judge's counter, and the judge is like, I love it. Did they have to throw that in? No, but go. Sometimes, hey man, go for it.
That is so cheesy.
That one I was like, wow, because a lot of it's not that cheesy, and then, most of it's not cheesy. I'm dead serious. Most of the movie is 100% not cheesy. And this was also the reason I picked this. This was the first Rock movie I saw where I was like, oh, The Rock has potential.
Okay.
This is the good movie. It's tight. There's no fat. It constantly moves. It draws you in the whole time, and it's a good storyline.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
Very curious to see what happens.
It's true. It's like everything about it is like, oh, this was the first time I ever saw The Rock, and I was like, straight out, I was like, oh, you're not just an action star. This story has some depth, and you're doing a really good job. But they had to throw in this line. You know what I mean? You can tell because they were like, well, we got The Rock. We got it.
We need a catchphrase possibly.
Exactly. Yeah. But it's like the movie was good enough. In my head, I was like, you guys didn't have to do this. Some of this you didn't have. Like, it was perfectly fine without the cheesy stuff. You know? So anyway, he does that, and so everyone, as he's walking out, everyone, Sheriff Vaughn. So he cuts to more times pass, and he's now turning his truck into a sheriff truck, like he won.
Oh wow!
Like they don't even show; they just he won, all right? And he's got his 2x4 bat hanging on the back of the window, all right? Like just to let everybody know what's up. And he pulls up to the like sheriff offices, and the old sheriff is outside with all the deputies, and he goes, well, sheriff, we have some traditions around here, just so you know, and I just want you to know that the tradition is, we usually keep our deputies on, and I want you to know that I can personally vouch for every single one of these deputies. And he goes, hey, you're all fired. And then The Rock just keeps walking, and then they're all like, and they all kind of smile at each other like, what the fuck? You know what I mean?
Well, you deserve that.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So he goes in, he kind of walks around, and then he just stands alone for a bit, and then he just kind of sits down. He's like, kind of nervous, like, you know what I mean? Like, because it's big empty sheriff's building.
Right.
So, cut to a Porsche is now flying through the streets, right? And it's Jay when he's with a bad bitch, all right? And then he gets whoop, 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 whoop. You see that sheriff truck pull up, and you see that fucking stick in the back of the window, all right? As they zoom in on that. And then he gets out, and he grabs his fucking bat, and he walks up, and then the dude Jay guy's all cocky. He's like, hey, what's up, Chris? And he's like, license and registration, please, sir. You're joking, right? License and registration, please, sir. You're like dancing.
That's so funny. That's
so.
That's how you know. That's the immediate mood shift. No matter what, with regular glasses, with sunglasses, whenever you do this,
you're like, hey, bro.
Your shift is.
I'm not fucking playing.
Or you're either more serious, or it's more like this is real.
Hey, bro.
Yeah. This information is so real, I can't see it properly.
You know what I ever feel like when a guy takes off his glasses? I guess because I'm always in my head that in fight or flight, and I'm always in fight.
Yeah, I'm a flight guy.
I'm always in fight.
Yeah.
So whenever I see a nigga take off his glasses, I know that because a dude who takes off his glasses means because first off, guys who wear glasses never take off their glasses.
Yes.
So if you're willing to take off your glasses, you're like, yo, I'm about to fight you.
Yeah, I'm willing to not. This is how important it is. I'm willing to not see.
Because we are about to go.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to lose these. Like, I'm going to see after this because I'm about to fuck you. You know what I mean? It's if you wear glasses and you take your glasses off to fight, it's like, oh, it's like your version of like taking your shirt off. Of like, hey, bro, we're here now, son. I can't even see you. And I'm about to kick your ass.
It's your version of taking your shirt off. That's funny.
So, he goes, license registration, he hands it to him.
Yeah.
And then he goes, what's the problem, sheriff? And he goes, you and the drugs you're peddling in this town, And then they talk, and then he goes, oh, yeah? Based on what, he starts talking shit, he starts talking to him now, you think cops have a, you know what I mean? Shit talking him, right? And so and then right then, Jay says how, you keep pushing so hard, you might not see 40, sheriff. He looks at him. He's like, can I have my license, please? Rock gives it back to him. He snatches it. He's like, thanks, sheriff. And Rock looks at him. He's like, get your taillights fixed. And then Rock walks off. And he's like, my taillights aren't broken. BAM!
I remember that from the trailer.
That was in the trailer. That's what made me want to see the movie.
Yeah,
I was like, ooh, I like that.
I remember that getting a good response in the trailer.
Oh, yeah, because that's such a good line of like, get your taillights fixed. Because the dude nailed it. Like, my taillight, and then just, you just hear it. Yeah. And it's like, ooh, motherfucker.
Yeah, talk shit, get hit.
So he goes, they're broken. So The Rock pulls up on Knoxville now, right, in his trailer. And Knoxville listening to music, and he's working on something. And The Rock is like, hey, how's it going, deputy? And he tosses him a sheriff badge. And Knoxville's like, no. I hate cops. You've been a cop for 2 seconds, and I hate you already. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And he's like, no, blah, blah, blah. He starts complaining. And then he lets him complain and get all this thing about how he hates cops. And he goes, you done? And he goes, yeah. He's like, Ray, I need your help. He's like, don't you do that to me. And then he goes, no, I need you to take me to drug school. You're the only person who can do it. I got to put a stop to this shit. You know what I mean? And he's like, do I get to wear a uniform? He's like, hell yeah. He's like, all right. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So Johnny starts telling him, they kind of like a montage starts of him teaching him how the drugs kind of work in this town.
Right.
You know what I mean? And he's like, and it's like, I love the shot of this because all the shot of this was bird's eye view. But it keeps moving.
So
it's just like a TV show almost. Like they're going through, and he's like, so we got to start with the low level guys. The low level guys settle this guy, and then they're busting a low level guy,
right.
And then they're busting like a guy up as it keeps going. Now but they're still busting the next guy, and then another guy, and then finally they get to the head security guy who fucked up his stomach.
Right.
You know what I mean? And then they bust him and they run and they chase him down. You know what I'm saying? And Johnny Knoxville like, you're not carrying, are you? And the guy's like, I don't have shit. And then he searches him, and then sure enough, Johnny Knoxville finds a bunch of stuff on his leg, like a bunch of drugs on his legs. And then the guy turns around, he's like, he spits. He's like, read me my rights, take me to jail, call my lawyer. And he smiles, right? And then The Rock's like, could be something else in here. And then they look at his nice truck. The guy's a really nice truck. And the guy's like, and then the next scene, of course, they are just sawing, literally, Johnny Knoxville, they're sawing every piece of his truck into pieces.
To
and
find
the guy's
something.
just watching. He's chained to just watching. Yeah, to find something. You know what
That's pretty great.
I mean? And it's a nice truck. When you see it, like, it's one of those souped up, like, Schaub's truck. Like, British truck. You know what I mean?
And then they're just fucking taking it apart.
And I mean, piece by piece.
Piece by piece.
And there's, like, their music playing, and they're talking shit to him as they're doing it, and they're laughing and talking shit. You know what I mean? And the guy's just watching. And then I love in the middle of this montage because the music blasts, the music stops, and then they're in the truck and they're just eating sandwiches, like quietly, and the guy's like still sitting there watching them eat sandwiches, and then it comes back to them, and then they're fucking his truck up more. You know what I'm saying? And so they finally Johnny goes, truck is clean, and it's like and it's completely stripped to pieces. You know what I mean? And then the guy goes, just so you know, I have information for you. And they look at him, and he goes, you're both going to get hurt, you know? And then at home, The Rock kind of looks at him, and he takes it. Johnny Knoxville laughs, The Rock takes it serious.
Right.
So at home, The Rock, he gives his dad a shotgun. And then his dad goes, why is it always a fight with you? Why is it always your fight? Always. You know what I mean? And then the father, he's like, I don't want guns. I don't like guns. Blah, blah, blah. And then he goes, I put guns down, and you're too stubborn. And then he's like, I'm stubborn because of you. They're going back and forth. And then the dad looks at him. He's like, just be careful, Chris. And then Chris looks at him, and he leaves the shotgun on the counter. And then he walks in, he goes like that, and he walks out. And the dad's just looking at it, right? So at jail, Knoxville is still fucking with the guy. All right, they're back at the sheriff's office. Knoxville. So The Rock comes in, and he says, hey, I'm going to stay with him tonight. I need you to go to my parents' place. And he hands him a shotgun. And Knoxville's like, you think they're going to take it that far? And The Rock looks at him. He's like, all right, I'm with you, brother. You know? He's like, I'll check in. He's like, I'll call you later. He's like, all right. They hug, and he leaves. So The Rock, cuts to, he's eating noodles, and he's just watching a baseball game, like eating ramen. And the Danny girl comes in. The white girl, right?
Uh-huh.
And the security guy sees her, and he starts talking shit to her. He's like, oh, what, you off the clock still? What, you back on the clock? Like, because he knows that she's a stripper,
Right.
So he's talking shit to her, and she walks by him. And then she comes over to The Rock. She's like, hey, I brought you salad, fried chicken, potato salad, blah, 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 And she's like, oh, and I got his glasses for some drinks. And then they're pouring them. And then she goes to get the drink, and then he grabs her, and then they just start making out.
Oh, nice.
Start making out, right?
Nice.
And then they stop, and then the girl closes the blinds because the dude was like, and he's like, ugh, because now he can't,
Yeah.
And then they go back to making out. She takes his shirt off. He takes her shirt off. They love make.
They love make.
Next morning, little young Pete wakes up Knoxville. He's sleeping on the couch.
That's a bad position to put herself in.
Yeah, it's a bad position for him to let her stay, right? Or fuck her.
No, not to fuck her. To fuck her while the security guy sees you. That's a bad position. He knows you work at the thing.
Now he knows. Oh, it's like Spider-Man. Why he doesn't give up his personality? Because now you can get it with Aunt May now.
I'm not even saying don't fuck. Just don't fuck in front of your enemy. Don't fuck in front of him.
No, because I get what you're saying. Like now your enemy knows your soft spot.
Yeah, not even that. For her, it's like he now knows you're with his enemy, and now you work at his job where he has this like crazy power.
Yeah.
And he's gonna get off. They have lawyers.
Yeah.
There's no way he's not gonna stay. And they know that. That's why they took out to strip down his truck. They're like, fuck, we're not gonna get him, but at least we can fuck with him.
Yeah.
Right. So now he's done that, and now he knows you're fucking. You know what I mean? It's
Absolutely.
Just wait till he's out of jail.
She should have came in. He should have kicked her out immediately. And then when he was outside, told her like, hey, I had to do that to keep up appearances.
Yeah.
Meet me at the house later. Blah blah blah.
Yeah. Right.
You're
It's just
you're right.
it's a bad position.
You're
She
right.
just put herself in a bad
I didn't
position.
think about that, but you're absolutely right.
Yeah. And I'm sure that's gonna come back into play.
So next morning, Pete waking up Knoxville, right?
Right.
And because he slept on the couch, and he's like, "Hey man, you want some food?" And Knoxville's like, "Oh, I'm good," right? And he goes in the kitchen. Rock and the girl are waking up, and they're having coffee. And then she's like, I think, and the Rock's like, man, I think we need to get a bigger bed. She's like, no, you don't. She's got just her bra on and like jeans. And then he opens the blinds, and the guy is still there. He kind of waves at him. Right? The guy's still in his cell. Like, just already looked like waiting, like he was waiting. So Jay is standing outside his casino, and he's looking like pissed. And then he calls somebody, and he's like, do it. He hangs up. So it cuts back to the Danny girl. She's like naming all the things she wants for breakfast. And then right then, boom, you hear his truck explode. All right. And then he ducks down, and the guy outside is yelling, "Whoa! Whoa! I told you, Vaughn!" You know, in the cell. I told you. Then right then, Vaughn cocks his shotgun. He's like, "Stay here." He goes out to look, and he's looking around, and he's like, "Truck for truck, baby! Truck for motherfucking truck!" Which I like that because the dude was like, "Truck for truck," you know. And then the guy keeps yelling, and then right then, the old sheriff with the fucking AR-15 comes up. The old sheriff starts unloading on the sheriff, like on the Rock. The Rock dies under a counter, right? You know, and then the Rock comes in, and then he saves the girl, like he tackles the girl down in the Rock, because she kind of looks out like, what the fuck? You know, and he takes her down. Bullets still flying in. So Knoxville, he falls back asleep at the place.
Right.
Okay?
Oh, shit.
And so now he's waking up back again, and he's like, something's burning. Pete, something's burning. What are you cooking, man? It's burning. And now he gets up, right? And he gets up, and he kind of like gets alert a little bit, like, Pete. Then he grabs a shotgun. Pete. And then he comes in, and a dude in like a mask is holding a gun to Pete's head, and he goes to shoot Johnny Knoxville because Johnny has the gun down, and then Pete goes, it like hits the guy's gun at the last second, and the guy like that and tries to aim back, and then he just shoots him in the leg, right?
Yeah. Shoots who in the leg?
Johnny Knoxville.
Okay.
All right, because he was trying, you know, like not because Pete hit, and then Pete like grabs something else and he tries to hit him again, you know, and then Johnny is now fighting this guy, right?
Right.
So Johnny jumps on his back and he's choking him, and then it cuts back to the Rock and he's shooting out the ground, like a hole in the ground, and he busts out the floor like to the basement now.
Yeah.
And he puts the girl under there, and he gives her a gun, and he's like, "Go to the end, and I want you to fire that gun when I say." She's like, "What?" He's like, "Just trust me. Go in, fire when I say." She's like, "Okay, right." She's terrified. But you hear they're just shooting, unloading on the sheriff's place.
Yes.
So
it's a good way to not get reelected again for the old sheriff.
yeah, well, he already lost.
It's true, but you can still run again.
Yeah,
Not anymore.
definitely not anymore.
Yeah, not anymore. You kind of lost the town people. Yeah.
You already lost him, but now I think you definitely.
Yeah, now you definitely lost him.
So it cuts back to Knoxville's fighting the one guy, still fighting the one guy, and he grabs something and he stabs the guy with it. The guy's like, ah! And then he fucking takes a frying pan, busts him across the face. The guy knocked out. Right? Yeah. So it cuts to the guy upstairs, and there's another two guys with a gun on the family, you know? And then the dad's like looking at him because it's the mom, the dad, and the sister. Right. And there's two guys holding guns on them. And the dad goes, "I know who both of you are." And they go, "Oh yeah?" And they take their masks off, and the one guy busts his face. Right, with the butt of the gun, the dad, and then they go like after they do that, the one guy sends the other guy downstairs to check out, like, "Hey, what's going on with the other guy? He's not answering." And then the other guy goes downstairs and he sees him knocked out, but he sees a trail of blood on the ground because Knoxville was shot in the leg. Yeah, so he's like, "What the fuck?" And then it cuts back to. And the guy cuts back to the Rock. The guy in the cell is begging the Rock to let him out because bullets are flying around him too. Yeah. You know what I mean? And the Rock's like, "I'll let you out, but tell me where the lab is." And he's like, "Ah." And then more bullets start flying in. He's like, "It's at the mill. It's at the old mill." You know, and the Rock's like,
"Of course." Yeah.
And then he's like, "Get me out of here, man." And then the Rock unlocks it and lets him out. The guy goes to get out, and then right when he goes to get out, takes a bunch of bullets, he dies. Gets shot by his own guys.
Yeah. Shit, what was he thinking? Those guys were like, "We're going to kill anyone who comes out."
Well, no. He didn't come out. I mean, like, The Rock unleashes the prison, so he's going to go with The Rock. Okay. And they were just shooting in. And you can't see it. He just happened to get hit. Okay. And he just, and then he just dies.
Okay. Well, you know.
Yep.
Whoops.
So, yeah, it's kind of like that. Like, The Rock just looks at him like, because you don't see it coming either. Yeah. It's like, fuck. You know? So... he tells him it's at the mill. All right, so
this is bad police work
from
Rock to not even like check the mill.
He's only been sheriff like literally a day.
Oh, really? This is the first day?
This is like day 2 or 3.
Oh, wow, that's an intense week.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah, good God.
So
there's only one deputy.
Yeah.
Yeah, he didn't plan ahead at all. He didn't need to fire all of them. He probably didn't need to fire all of them.
Probably more of a statement.
Yeah, well, look where it got you.
So back at the Pete guy. Wait. We're
So
back. Okay, no. Okay, so
we're
the
at Johnny-
guy gets shot. Now we're back at the house.
Yeah.
All right, with Johnny Knoxville. Johnny Knoxville shoots and kills the guy. All right, like the guy who's
checking up on him. So he kills the second guy.
When that happens, the sis, like she hears something downstairs, she kicks the one who has the gun on him. She fucking kicks the gun up and fucking foots him down like as he's by the stairs. This nigga falls down the stairs now. All right, so now he's falling down the stairs. He comes through and then he grabs his shotgun. Johnny Knoxville, look at you. He has a shotgun. They start blasting at each other. Okay.
Good God.
Cuts back to Chris. Chris is like crawling down the bottom, and then the sheriff is reloading, right? And he's got two guys with him. He tells him to go in. One of the guys goes in. The Rock blasts him, kills one easy. They start shooting at where he's shooting from. The Rock, special force rolls like the other way.
Special force rolls.
That kind of like real, like real quick.
It's a great way to describe it. Special force rolls.
Rolls, and he waits, and then the other guy comes up, boom, blasts him. Sheriff fucking do special force rolls again, and then so it cuts back to.
Cuts back to the house, probably.
No. He right then he tells Danny, he's like, Danny, shoot, Danny, now, and then she just starts shooting in the air with her eyes closed, and then of course the sheriff guy turns around, and then right when he turns, the Rock comes up on him, bow, kills him, blast that nigga. You know what I mean? Some straight up special forces shit.
He survived that, and he came out. The security guy died, so he came out better.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah,
came out way on top.
Came out way better. So actually, she didn't make a bad move at all. She lucked out, and the other guys made the worst move of trying to murder everybody.
Yeah, they did.
Yeah, but she did make a bad move. You just got lucky.
Yeah, she got lucky.
She got really lucky.
So, back at the house, they're still shooting each other out, right? Mm-hmm. The dude runs out of bullets. They both run out of bullets. He has to reload. So, as he's reloading, Knoxville, like he's reloading, and he finally gets a bullet, and Knoxville runs up because he's got that bad leg. He's like, ah! And the guy's like trying to reload, and then Knoxville fucking swings, and he misses, and the guy finally reloads, and now they're holding the gun, right? Yeah. So they're fighting with the gun, one shot goes off, and they're fucking fighting, you know what I mean? And then they go back and forth, and then finally Johnny gets the guns out of his hand, and he starts beating the shit out of the dude, and he poof, poof, and then really like to the point where it's like, oh, this guy would have been dead. Poof, 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 and then finally he gets grabbed by somebody, and he just turns, poof, and he knocks that guy, bah, and it's the Rock. And he's like, oh, dude. He's like, I'm sorry. And the Rock just grabs him and he holds him. He's like, I'm sorry. And then Johnny Knoxville, he's fucked up, bloody and all struck. He's like, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. You know what I mean? It's like, you did good.
Damn, that's how much adrenaline had. He got a good one on the Rock.
You're like, yo, got him.
Yeah.
But I mean, he was hitting that guy to death.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It was like fighting him to death.
Yeah.
So, so right then he's great. He's like, you did good. The guy, remember the guy he knocked out with the pan earlier?
Yeah.
He comes to, and he's got a gun on both of them. And he takes out the thing that Johnny Knoxville stabbed him with, and he's like, you stabbed me with a potato peeler? He drops it. And then the Rock steps close, and he goes to shoot the Rock, and then right then, poof, he gets blasted with a shotgun.
By the dad.
The dad.
Yeah.
And the dad looks at him, and the dad looks really, the dad looked sad.
Fucked up.
Though.
Yeah.
Yeah, real fucked up about it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And he looks at the dad, and he's like, you gonna be okay? The dad just nods. And then the Rock leaves, right? He's in a different car, and he's flying into the mill.
Yeah.
All right? He's flying in the mill. He has a gun and a flashlight, and he goes in. He goes through slowly. He's walking through. And then there's drug lab shit everywhere, right? Like everywhere. And then finally he walks up on Jay, and Jay's just sitting down. And you hear a dong, dong, like that. You heard that sound the whole time while the Rock was looking. And then now you're there, and you see he was flicking like a metal saw. You know what I mean? And so he goes, and Jay goes, remember when we played hide and seek? Boom. And he goes, man, that was my favorite sound. Boom. And then the Rock kind of walks toward him, and then Jay hits a button, right? And then when Jay hits the button, the floor opens, and then all the shit cuts on, and then Jay starts hitting all the lights and everything, and then all the saws start cutting on, but the Rock like catches himself at the last minute when he falls on, and then everything like below him is like just a big drop, and he's holding on this thing, and then the Jay guy runs up, and he starts fucking kicking him in the stomach, right? And he's talking all this shit to him, and he's like,
ooh, see, that's crazy. That's interesting. That he, what's it called? He went to the mill.
Yeah.
See, my first thought, if I was on a pure vengeance trip, is like, oh man, I know I just took out a bunch of his security guards, so I'm gonna go and fuck the casino up. That was my first thought. Is like, that's what I would do. Because he tried to kill my family. I know his security guards are dead.
Yeah. But also, you know what else? He probably was like, I know he's at the mill.
That's why. That's also just like, oh, I know he's waiting for me at the mill.
Yeah.
So while he does that, I'm just gonna fuck everything. You know, just really, really. I guess that's more the Kill Bill in me. Just really, really turn the knife.
I'm gonna make a pit stop.
Yeah. Oh, it's almost like, bro, I kind of want you to live just so you have nothing anymore.
Ooh.
Yeah, it's a more cerebral, I guess, kind of evil.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm really just playing his game now. I've become him.
Yeah, you're becoming him with that.
Yeah.
The Rock's like, no, I just gotta put an end to this.
Yeah, but I'm already drunk with power, and I'm just watching the movie.
So.
My point is, everyone in here has the capability of being the J guy.
They do.
Yeah, you have the capability of being the bad guy because I feel it. I feel it in my bones, and I'm just watching this movie. I'm just listening to you describe this movie.
So he's kicking him, and as he does, the Rock finally grabs his leg, and then they both go falling through this hole.
Yeah.
And they finally fucking hit a couple pipes, bam, land, slide down a thing, like a slide, like into like a bunch of like ash shit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so when that happens, like they finally like they stand up and like they fight for a second, and then Jay pushes him, and the Rock goes, and he's like there's like imagine like a missing wall.
Okay.
You know, like an old building.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Like just a wall that's been knocked
down.
You
Okay.
know? And the Rock, and he falls like 2 stories. Lands on his leg. Ah! Fucks his leg all the way up. You know what I mean? The J guy looks down, he's smiling. You know? So he comes down all happy. He runs downstairs. And when he gets down, the Rock is gone. He looks and then he sees a figure kind of off into the woods. You know?
Right.
So Jay, he grabs an axe and he heads off into the woods looking for the Rock. All right? So the Rock is now laying down by a tree, and his leg is out, and he snaps his own leg back in place. Ah! And he screams, and when he does, you hear, and he ducks, fucking axe misses his head.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And then right then, like, he grabs them, and then they fucking fall down a mountain pretty much. And they're just rolling down this mountain. And the axe is still in hand, right? Which is crazy.
Yeah.
Crazy how one of them didn't get stabbed. So they're falling. And then...
Yeah, I would let go of the axe at that point. I was like, oh, this is just a fight now.
Well, the J guy's holding it,
Yeah.
So they finally land. They get J guy's holding the axe. The Rock looks down, breaks off a branch from a tree, bro. Branch from a tree, nigga. Breaks that bitch off. Then they go fucking fighting. They're swinging at you. Branch versus axe. A huge branch. You know what I mean? Like
Branch
a huge
versus
tree branch.
axe.
Yo,
Yeah.
crazy shit, dog. And finally, like he finally knees the Rock in the face at one point, and then he goes to swing the axe on him, and the Rock body slams him into the tree, and then he punches him, boom, twice hard in the face, like real hard. Bow, bow, kind of knocks Jay out. Mm-hmm. And then Jay kind of drops the axe, and he spits in the Rock's face, and he goes, "You're nothing." Like, you know, and the Rock has blood all in his face. And the Rock backs back, like he's about to kill him, and he takes the branch and just goes, crack, breaks his whole leg. Jay goes, ah, and he falls. You know? And then he goes, you're right, Jay. I think this does change our relationship. Because this is my town. And you're under arrest. And he fucking music plays, it fades out, right? So it cuts to, and they're putting the caution tape on the casino, shutting it down. He's like, this is the last thing? He's like, that's the last of it. And it's like the roulette table, right? And they throw it in the trunk. And then him and Knoxville, they start talking shit to each other, and they both get on the deputy uniforms. And then Knoxville's like, hey, man, you want to grab some lunch? He's like, I'm with you, buddy. I'm feeling all right. Uh-huh. I'm not feeling too good myself. Oh, yeah. Let's walk and talk. I'm feeling all right.
Okay.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
Not feeling too good myself. Uh-huh.
Okay.
Credits.
This movie sounds like a lot of fun.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Sounds great. Now, I do have 2 questions.
Yeah.
This is for The Rock in the movie, so if you could answer like him.
Yeah.
Okay. So, I get it. You've got rid of the drugs and all that sort of stuff, but now you've closed down the town's main source of income.
They opened the mill back up.
Okay.
Yeah.
But either way, the way factories are going nowadays, you fuck the town economically.
A lot of jobs lost.
Yeah. You have fucked the town economically, and it's not like you're gonna really stop drugs. That's not a realistic goal
Yeah.
for any law enforcement. You know, it's just you're just gonna have to fight the new game. But you know, the movie part was great. The part they made of the movie was great, but I worry about that town's future now.
You want to know the true story?
Yes.
There's a white guy in the 50s and 60s,
All right.
and he was fighting on the mafia. And same scenario, he was a United States whatever Marine, like high level Marine.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Okay.
Came back to his town. It was completely corrupted by the mafia.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Then he ran for sheriff. Won as the youngest sheriff, and then completely turned more assassination attempts on his life than any other sheriff. And then at one point, one of the assassination attempts, they killed his wife, and then that's when his story became national news, and everybody was like, "Who is this guy?" Like trying to change his town. You know what I mean? Because he kept fighting them even after they killed his wife.
Ooh,
Yeah, it's crazy.
nuts.
Yeah, it's
That's
pretty nuts. Pretty nuts.
That's pretty
And
nuts.
this is the second movie they've made off this.
Really? What's the first?
The first one they made was in the 70s while he was still alive.
What was it called?
Walking Tall.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, wow. That makes sense. Casinos.
And there's a
the
book on this
mafia.
as well, on this guy.
Jesus, what
Yeah,
happened?
crazy life.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously they changed the story for this, but
Yeah. What happened
The
to
basis is true.
Yeah. I wonder what happened to him after all that.
he died of natural causes.
Oh, wow. That's
Like, he
really
died
rare.
of old age. Yeah.
That's really rare.
Yeah.
Especially when you take on the mafia, even if you win. There was these two guys that took on the mafia in Italy
Yeah.
and really fucked them up, but they both got assassinated. But they crippled the mafia forever. The mafia ain't what it used to be because of them.
That's why when they made the first movie about this guy, it was apparently such a big deal because he was still alive and
was
nobody
still
could
alive.
believe he's like.
Yeah, I can't believe nobody killed him eventually.
Apparently, like it was a beloved cop, like beloved, like good sheriff. And,
Yeah,
you know
yeah,
what I
yeah.
mean, like beloved.
Well,
But those are the people who usually die.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
apparently, he's also like the toughest son of a bitch.
I mean, well, good
Clearly.
God. You have to if you're taking on the mafia single-handedly and your only backup is Johnny Knoxville.
right?
Yeah. I love that idea. Yo, Johnny Knoxville, protect my parents.
Right? Even with the shotgun, I'm like, nah, bro. How's that Johnny Knoxville? How's the Jackass theme go?
Yeah, I forgot. I like the idea of making the jackass guys do important things. Hey, Steve-O, you're now the new Secretary of the Treasury. Figure it out, bro. Figure it out.
Bow wow! I can't remember that Jackass out. I can't remember how it goes. Walking Tall.
Watch it. I will.